Welcome to the Pittsburgh Steelers defensive back Mikey Victor, and welcome back Kevin Fulch, and goodbye DJ Thomas Jones and Cameron McCutcheon. So, this morning the Pittsburgh Steelers have signed 2 players and released 2 others from this roster. And before I get more into the introduction to the new guy, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also like this video. Now, let's get right into it. So, the Pittsburgh Steelers have signed Mikey Victor to a contract. And this is going to be the first time he's a part of the 90-man roster. So let's introduce you to him, because it may be the first time you're actually hearing that name just in general. So Mikey Victor, he was a 2024 draft prospect out of Alabama State. And he actually came in for a workout with the Pittsburgh Steelers on January 10th. And this was right after the 2024 season concluded. And now, with Corey Trace Jr. and Dante Kent working their way back from injuries, and also McCutcheon banged up on Saturday, they needed to kind of replenish and get another playmaker in the secondary. And Victor is now that guy. He initially signed with the New England Patriots as an undrafted free agent in the 2024 season, but was released at roster cutdowns late last August. He measured in at his pro day, standing at 6'2", 205 pounds, with 33.5 inch arms, and he ran a 4.67 second 40-yard dash time. He also posted an impressive 35.5 inch vertical jump. So he's a player who is now coming to this team to provide some depth to this roster at the defensive back position, to play in preseason, to get some training camp snaps. And this is great for him because it bodes well for his chances to maybe make this practice squad. At the end of the day, he probably won't make this final 53-man roster, but he could at least put some film out there for other teams, other coaches, or even this team, the Steelers, to join that practice squad once he maybe gets released at final cutdowns. But for him, it's probably great because prior to this moment, he wasn't on any other team to begin with, so at least he gets to join an NFL team and gets to prove his worth to a coach. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, they decided that he is the guy for right now to take over for all the injured players they have. And it's probably because he's a hard worker. And in that workout that he did do on January 10th, he probably did pretty well. So the Pittsburgh Steelers decided, hey, he did good in this workout. He looks like a solid player in film. Let's bring him in here and let's get him going. And get going with this defense. Let him get acclimated to it. And you never know. If an injury comes up during the season, and many injuries happen, and the Steelers have to go and sign a player from the practice squad or sign a player off of the free agent market, maybe he is a guy who the Pittsburgh Steelers end up signing during the regular season to come in for a few snaps here and there. But as of right now, he comes in to try to earn a spot. Do I believe he'll make the final roster? No. But he is a player to provide depth for this team at the defensive back position. So, that's not the only addition the Pittsburgh Steelers have made today, because they've also made another addition, signing tight end Kevin Fulch. And this is a player who was actually released by the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. So he signed back to this team today. And that's why it's kind of a welcome back moment, because he was gone for a little bit, but obviously he's still here now, and a week later. So Kevin Fulch is a player, a tight end, who's in a stacked room at the tight end position, with obviously Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, and Jonnu Smith. So you could kind of see why he's expendable of when the Pittsburgh Steelers need to go and sign some other players. They decide to cut him because they already have so much talent there. And he's a player that's expendable in that regard. But Kevin Fulch, just to kind of give you an update on him, he's a player, just in case if you don't know, was with the Carolina Panthers, New York Jets, Philadelphia Eagles, and most recently the Kansas City Chiefs, but has yet to see action in an NFL game. He's been to a lot of teams, and he even played college football at Division II, New Haven, where he had 16 touchdown receptions. So he's a player who could get a touchdown when needed at the college level, but he just hasn't been given the opportunity yet in the NFL level, and the Pittsburgh Steelers look to not be that team either. He may be making the practice squad though, however, because obviously they like him enough to keep bringing him back, even after they released him. He's a player that they obviously want on the roster to give an opportunity to. So when cutdowns come and he gets released from this 90-man roster, I would expect him to maybe be on that practice squad. just like Mikey Victor, perhaps. But Kevin Fulch, that's another move the Pittsburgh Steelers have decided today to bring him back to the team. But in corresponding moves, because the Steelers signed 2 players, that means they had to cut 2 players from this roster because there's a limit. And those players that the Pittsburgh Steelers cut were actually some fan favorites. And that is tight end DJ Thomas Jones and defensive back Cameron McCutcheon. And we're going to start off with Cameron McCutcheon, because McCutcheon made some plays in Saturday's preseason game and win over the Jacksonville Jaguars, but he hurt his hamstring on a punt return special teams unit, and because those probably take a while to recover from, maybe even weeks, the Pittsburgh Steelers decided to cut him from the team and sign someone else instead. McCutcheon was just named the Steelers' top player of that preseason opener as well, with a PFF grade 93.4 overall. So he's a player who obviously performed well. It's a shame that he had that hamstring injury because he really showed out and he was fighting for a final roster spot on this team. But now, who knows where his future lays with the Pittsburgh Steelers, if they decide to sign him back once he is healthy or if they just let him go for good. But McCutcheon, he was a fan favorite, but now he's gone because of that injury. So, moving over to the next player the Pittsburgh Steelers released, and like I said, that's DJ Thomas Jones, who's a tight end / fullback for this roster. And like I said with Cam Fulch, he's a player who would have a hard time making this team because they have so many tight ends on this roster, and they already have a fullback in Connor Hayward. So he's more than likely a player that would be a practice squad type of player as well, but he is also a fan favorite because once he was signed after the draft as an undrafted free agent this season, he's a player the Steelers fans kind of saw the film on and saw him as maybe a prospect who could actually make this team eventually. But obviously that's not the case here because DJ Thomas Jones was just released by this team. And when you look at him in general, he's a player who is a smaller type of player. He only stands just above 6 feet tall, so he's not a big guy. And most of the tight ends the Steelers have on this roster are big guys. So he doesn't really fit the mold of what the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking for at the tight end position, because he's not a receiving threat, and he's not a 6'5", 6'7", 6'3" type of guy like the others, and adding to this roster. And when you look at the fullback position as well, he's expendable there as well because it's not even a lock for Connor Hayward to make this roster, and he's Cameron Hayward's brother. And Connor Hayward has made this roster the last few years since he's been in the NFL. So since it's not even a lock for him to make this roster, it sure wasn't going to be a lock for Thomas Jones to make this team as well. So you can see why he's expendable in that nature. If the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking to sign other players to this team, he's a player that the Steelers probably feel comfortable enough to cut, that he'll probably be back eventually if they need be. But he is now off this roster, a fan favorite. Actually, 2 fan favorites are now gone, but some other players are re-signed and then newly signed to this team. Anyway, that's the end of this video, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on the new addition of the defensive back. Is it your first time hearing the name Mikey Victor? And what are your thoughts on him if you've watched his highlights in a film this far since signing? Or was this the first time you're hearing him, his introduction to you in this video? Also, what are your thoughts on Kevin Fulch returning to the team and the Pittsburgh Steelers releasing Thomas Jones and also Cameron McCutcheon? Do you think any of these guys will make the final 53-man roster or the practice squad? And are you sad to see any of these other guys leave and be cut from this team because they actually had a chance? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below about them. Me personally, practice squad would probably be the best spot if they do make this team. Anyway, that's the end of this video, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And also, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news, updates, highlights, analysis, reports. It doesn't matter what it is with Pittsburgh Steelers news, I've covered it. And I'll continue covering it as the season starts shortly. Every new player, like these two, will be covered on this channel. Every prior player we signed, their introduction is already on the channel. Go ahead and check it out. And this is the best spot to stay updated with your team. So stay tuned, like, comment, and subscribe to notifications for this channel. And until the next video tomorrow, I'll see you guys all later. That's it for me. I'm out. Peace.